Hello, welcome to Andale Homestead. I'm Ann, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, what I thought we would do is take a tour of the land of plenty. It's mostly for my records and to share with you so that we can know by the end of June what our garden is doing. So here's the land of plenty, you guys. I have this beautiful archway that at night the lights just shine and it makes me so happy. Let's head on in and see what we have. I have a little gate that we've put here. Let's pull it out, stake it down, and let's walk into my magic land, my place of peace. This is our grapevine that is supposed to be a self-pollinator. I think it's going to be fabulous. So let's start over in the corner here. And if you can see the land, there's our creek that leads out to the Albemarle Sound. It's really nice back here. And no matter what stresses you have for the day, this helps me to be able to calm down and understand that this is my no stress zone. My no stress zone, you guys. I want to show you a little bit about what we do to try to help when a storm is coming or something like that. But here's our green beans. Look at there. We have some more green beans that are ready or will be very soon. We picked a whole pile of them already that I need to wash and get in the freezer really, really quickly. These over here were darker brown beans, and these were green beans, but they're all snap beans. And we walk down the line. I'm checking to make sure there's no snakes out here, you guys. And our cucumbers, we have two different types of cucumbers this year. We have the straight eights, and then the name escapes me. I'll have to ask Worth for the second one. But the bees love it. And we've been getting cucumbers hand over fist, which is fabulous. Now what we have done is we have weed barrier all along the garden. You can see the black. It's a breathable cloth. It's not the hard plastic that a lot of us use, because Worth and I find that this breathable cloth will still let the moisture go through, so when we water, it can still go through the cloth. Oftentimes, we'll just water right down the aisles now so that it's not directly on the plant, but the moisture can still be in the soil. That helps a lot. Let's walk through, see what we have. We have zucchini. If we have any little zucchinis coming up. So there may not be zucchinis. There's certainly blooms here. And also, our zucchinis were kind of falling over a little bit at one time. So we used some supports. Let's see if I can find you one. You see this little support right here? That helps. Of course, that one particular thing fell over, but it helps it stand up tall also. We have our okra that is growing and blooming. This okra doesn't know what in the world is going on with the weather, unfortunately, because it's getting cold and hot and cold and hot, and it really doesn't know what it's doing. But look at that. We have some sweet okra that's coming around. Well, it's not sweet, but we have okra that's coming up. I'm excited about that. I'm not a huge okra fan, but my husband loves it. And then we planted marigolds scattered back and forth all through. And I got to tell you, for the first time in years, so far, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, so far it has kept a lot of the bug pressure away. Look, see, there's another support. We have blooms that are going to town this morning. Yep, we just came out and picked everything. Worth did before I took a video. So we got some squash and some yellow squash. This is all yellow squash, which we love, and we freeze. What we do is pull it off the vine. We quick freeze it, put it on a tray in the freezer, and then you can just put the discs right in the freezer. And then these are our Dixie Red tomatoes. It's a hybrid type of tomato, and it is supposed to be determinate. But these kind of, well, they don't know that they're hybrid or that they're determinate tomatoes, so they continue to grow pretty high, and they bloom most all summer. And this has been a strange beginning in the weather for our summer, but we've got some tomatoes coming on. I'm so excited to be able to see these little things blooming. I'm taking a video because I may be out of town or away from it for a couple of days. My husband will be here, but I want to make sure that I see it before it goes. Now, what we do for storms, we had some windstorms that were coming around. And with the wooden post, because they don't have the spikes in them like T-posts do, we double wrap around the post to be able to give it security. And even though some of these branches didn't need support, we were expecting a big windstorm. So we came and gave them all extra support. Also, what we do is trim off all of the branches at the bottom so that it gets plenty of airflow. I have found that that helps tremendously with these Dixie Red tomatoes to be able to get them some air. And I'll come back in a little while and clean out some of the suckers that are on there. Now, a sucker, if you're not familiar with that, something like this is a sucker, but guess what? This is a sucker too. And so you have a main branch that comes right up, and it should just be this one main branch. And a lot of people will take everything off in between. We don't do that so much because we like having more fruit on there, and I have found that it does give us more fruit. We have a few peppers down here. These are bell peppers. They're blooming in little bitty babies down there. So fun to come out in the morning and see all your babies, all our little baby cucumbers. Worth just picked the vine clean, so but there's a zucchini that by this afternoon it's going to be ready to go in the house. Now, let's get through this forest of tomatoes. These are all Dixie Reds. These 2 rows are Dixie Reds. And then, let's come around here. Now, this is kind of our wild, but it does attract the bees and things like that. So hopefully one day I'll have that cleared out. These are yellow sun-kissed cherry tomatoes. They are blooming themselves to death, just blooming themselves to pieces, and it tickles me. Now, in our cherry tomatoes, we don't really thin out the branches as much. We just let it do its thing. We try to support it as much as we can to be able to secure it. But, and let me show you an experiment that we did. Some of the branches fallen down and almost fallen off. So, although I don't suggest this, we simply stuck them in a pot. Now, that's only been 3 days, and they're in shock right now. They look pitiful. And if they grow, great. If they don't, that's okay. Normally, what people do are take those branches off and stick them in some water and get some roots growing. And then once the roots grow, they put them in the ground. But we were hot. We just stuck them in some dirt. So we'll see, because on tomatoes, you will see that, can you see these they're little fibers that are all up and down, all of these stems. That's a pretty good picture of them. And those actually will turn into roots. So if I were to trim this here, I could put this much in the ground, and that would all be roots, that we could have more plants. And we may do that again. This is the yellow sun-kissed cherry tomatoes. And then we have our other yellow determinate tomatoes that are coming along. I picked my first ripe cherry tomato yesterday, and it was fabulous. We have Swiss chard in our little grow bag over there. That one is just curing for something else. I've tried to cover it all up with leaves and things like that to be able to protect the soil so that the sun doesn't kill it. Now these tomatoes are also yellow. If you notice, we're growing a lot more yellow tomatoes this year because, there's another old sucker. Because I understand that they have lower acid, and because of my arthritis, I need another alternative. And I'm gonna see if that works. I have some parsley that is bolting. But there's some new parsley down there. I've trimmed it back several times. I'm gonna trim it again. What we do with the bolts is either let it reseed or give it to the chickens. And we have some jalapeno peppers here. Now the bugs have started eating them, we noticed. So what we've done is we put a fresh little bowl of beer down here. Fresh little bowl of beer. And that seems to attract the slugs to go in there to die. Of course, it rained last night, so we'll see. It's a little watered down. And over here, I had put an onion top that was already blooming or growing or rooting in my pantry. So I just cut off the top, stuck that in there. And then there's the bottom that I put in there yesterday with the root down. Just cover it up. And then you'll have, it's just greens. You're not going to have a bulb, but you do have greens. These are our brandywines. And again, I'll show you what we did. We came out here to prepare for some pretty strong storms that were coming and tied everything really strong. It might be tight right now, but we were in a hurry. So we were trying to make sure that if the wind came, a gale, that these Brandywine tomatoes would be able to continue. These are indeterminate tomatoes. They go up really tall. And it's taller than I am already. But what we do is let them grow up and then over. We arch them over to the other post. And they kind of crisscross each other. Usually, our indeterminate tomatoes don't really grow until later, but we do have some blooms and we do have some tomatoes. I'm excited about that. A strawberry garden. Strawberries are just about past their prime, but I'm expecting a second crop because these are ever-bearing strawberries. And although it may look like a strawberry here and here, what I have done is painted seashells to look like a strawberry so that when the birds come in and they peck that, they go, oh, that's not food, and they move on. I kind of like that a little bit. We have some more peppers here. These are cayenne peppers. There's thousands and thousands of different types of peppers, you guys. And we are growing just a few of the varieties, but look. We do have a cayenne pepper growing. That thing slipped in on us. They're growing up tall and strong. We did give them a little bit of support because of that windstorm. We came in and tried to give them a little support. These are just little bamboo sticks to be able to do that. And in the beginning, when it was only, yay high, we cut off the top of the pepper so that it would go out instead of up. Well, it still went up, but I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. Here's some more. Three little blooms here. And our lettuce. The lettuce is bolting, of course, it's blooming, but aren't those pretty little flowers? And then eventually those flowers will turn into kind of a fuzz. And what the fuzz is are seeds. Once it's finished flowering, Then, because you see this is what it looks like before it has bloomed, then I just come bend it over and shaky and reseed that container. And we have lettuce like see up until it gets too hot for lettuce. Much easier than out here in North Carolina in the summer. More jalapeno peppers. There's blooms. We don't have any peppers yet. It's been a weird year for weather, y'all. Our peppers are behind. Let's see what we have. More peppers. This. Now this is a mystery to me. I've never grown onions. Thank you very much, bird. I'm trying to do a little video here, so would appreciate if you'd be quiet. This is our biggest onion that's growing so far. I didn't know what in the world to do. I feel like I'm missing out because I've been told, normally what I do is just grow a bunch of greens. I cut them off, dehydrate them, and use those for onion spices all year. Well, this was a different type of onion, and it's blooming, and I don't know exactly what to do with it. Maybe you can help me. Have you grown onions? And you can tell me? I do know that on these onions, you go in here, rub your fingers around the edges to give them room. I've been doing that, and they have grown quite a bit. I was reaching out to my community and telling them, oh my gosh, y'all, my onions are like marbles. They're terrible. I don't have any. I'm not. And they're going, honey, just be patient. Be patient. And T-Nog from the New Orleans Gardener told me the different types of onions to be able to purchase, and that maybe that would be better. I know there's hardneck and softneck garlic, but there's definitely onions for your grow zone. But look at these tops. They're insane. But I don't want to miss out. Y'all tell me what to do. I mean, can I cut the greens off, or at least the scapes or something, and potentially have larger bulbs, and use that for spices, save all that greenery? Or at this point, now that it's flowering, just leave it there. None of us know everything, and our community is better together. And we have some red onions that are coming along. They're not big. They're not big yet. But I'm excited to see anything, really. I'm excited to see any kind of onions growing, because I haven't ever done it before. Every year is a new experience. Every year is a new experiment. So that's good. And then there's a few more over on this side. That's where the garlic was. We have another pepper up here. This is one of my herb containers. This is celery that I have already cut back. There were some people that said, oh, I've never seen celery growing in the wild. Well, I don't have thick stalks yet. They're not thick like you get so you can spread peanut butter on them in the grocery store. But I tell you what, you trim those things back, give them a haircut, save the new growth that's down there, dehydrate all of this, chop it up, and it's the best seasoning you ever will see. Oh my gracious, it's good on fish, it's good in soups, it's good on beef, it's chicken, everything. We have some basil that's growing well, some dill. I love some dill. And oh, it looks like it's getting ready to flower. I need to prick those off a little bit, because once it flowers, it's different. But that's from my dill pickles. Some more parsley, another pepper, and look at there. From Black's Tropical Homestead, Bobby, the banana man. He gave me 2 different bananas. One he gave me back in October, which I thought I had definitely killed during the winter. Look at that little stinker. It's growing up tall. And this one he gave me recently, April. when we had the Soil Family Expo, and that was just a chopped off stick. These things grow fast, but they're big feeders. So that's our little tour of the garden, the land of plenty today. Brings me a lot of peace. It is a lot of work, but anything you do that you have pleasure in, you do have to kind of work for it a little bit. And if it's worth it to you, you're going to find the time. I try to come out early in the morning or late in the evening to be able to do what I need to do, or short spurts during the day. I had a friend recently reach out to me and said, I want my garden to be like your garden. How did you do that? Well, trial and error. We have the ground cover because I can't stand pulling weeds. And we have too many snakes around here to be able to not have some sort of weed control. And I know that there are a lot of people that enjoy planting a whole bunch of different things in the same area and have them all growing up. That's just not my style. I appreciate them for being able to do that, but kind of messes up my brain, fiddles with my peace. So you guys, thank you for coming to the land of plenty. I'm Ann. Oh, there's an ant growing on me. I'm Ann. I'm so glad that you've been here today. Remember that the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, say the Lord. They're plans for good, not to harm you. They're plans for hope and a future. Love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.